We have some breaking news here in Washington, D.C., where shots were just fired, leading to a mass evacuation of Donald Trump, Melania Trump, the entire Trump cabinet, and high level officials from the White House Correspondents Dinner. Shots were fired within the Hilton Hotel where the White House Correspondents' Dinner is hosted. Donald Trump evacuated. And from what we know right now, and we are going to get into all of the reporting in this breaking video, as well as a lot of thoughts that I have on the state of our country, how we have gotten here to this violent place that just seems commonplace at this point. I do want to start with the reporting though. Fair trigger warning, this is a mass evacuation. There are shots fired. It is a very disturbing scene. I want to see that and some of the other reporting that we are getting on the ground right now in Washington, D.C. before I just get into a lot of thoughts. But first, I want to take a look at a couple of these clips.
People were jumping under tables, and people were very upset and worried. And I have some videos, so somebody needs to. We have no signal. There's never any signal here at the Washington Hilton, so I apologize for that. But I have some video to send. But in any case, I have no idea what happened. Somebody with a Secret Service pin said that there was a shooter made his way into the building, but not into the room. And that shooter was stopped. So that's all I know, is that shooter was stopped.
So the reporting that we have right now from the Associated Press is that there were shots fired within the room. Now this is one of the more heavily guarded areas, I would say, on the planet at this point, considering how many Secret Service are there, the detailing that is done by the hotel, by the staff, by everyone around. This is a locked down location in DC. So the fact that there was a security failure that allowed a man with a gun, I don't think we exactly know yet how many people, what this larger plan was, but the fact that there was a breach is unconscionable at this point, considering how many high-level officials are there. But can we honestly be shocked that this is the state of our politics right now? That this is the place that we are at, where Donald Trump, and I know there are going to be some people who say this is a moment in which we shouldn't be talking about the president maybe who is the target of this potential fire. I don't know if it was someone in the cabinet. I don't know. There's a lot of high officials there. But is it a surprise when the president of the United States talks about the media who filled the 3 minutes on entire room tonight? It is an event for the media. When he talks about them as scum, as the enemy, as is the worst part of our country, it says that they should be jailed for treason. It was not just Republican members of Congress there. There were a handful of Democratic representatives, Democratic senators, former public officials. This is a broad spectrum of people in DC. So at this moment, no, we do not know what the motive of the shooter was, and we do believe that the shooter is now dead. It's compromised. There could be others. But are we shocked? I know we should be. I know it feels that way. But can anyone actually be shocked that this is the state of our politics? When it is violent rhetoric, when it is enemy from the President of the United States. Again, let's put this into context. This is an event tonight that is about the media. That Donald Trump, as he always does, and I know that I'm going to get shit for saying this, there are going to be people who maybe clip this on the right and say, oh, in a moment in which Donald Trump had his life threatened, some liberal is talking about what he's such a bad guy and it's his fault. This is the language that he uses. Donald Trump's entire political movement is based on violence, is based on hurting people. It is an act of violence when you kick 25 million people off their healthcare and 50,000 people die unnecessarily a year. It is an act of violence when you commit war crimes. It is an act of violence when you talk about the press as if they are animals, that they are enemies of the state. So we don't know what the motive is right now. But what we do know is that this is our politics and this is what we've come to expect. It was only a month ago when Congresswoman Ilhan Omar had a man attack her in the middle of a town hall. Donald Trump was making jokes about it consistently. He does racist tropes that he uses to paint any Democrat or anyone who opposes him as the enemy. So are we shocked? Are we shocked at this point? No. Again, we don't know the motive. Information is still beginning to come in. I know I'm in a tux and I'm not in my studio because I live right by the Hilton. I want to give some context for that. I couldn't get back just because there obviously was so much police presence, Washington DC might be shut down today. But the takeaway of this is going to be wrong, and it is going to be wrong in the same sense that what we saw at the White House Correspondents Dinner tonight. Journalists who are consistently attacked by this president, demeaned, who have their reporting shut down by the powerful men and women. Barry Weiss, fuck you, who buys up outlets and determines what gets to be said. Real journalism is shut down, and then these people go to this dinner and play nice and applaud dear leader. Oh, it's okay, President Trump, he came, he made us feel special. And those who acted in protest came, what did they wear? A pin. And I understand some members of the media, you show up, you talk to people, it's face, it's the industry, whatever. And there's parties. I was going to go to the MSNBC party tonight.
I can hear, Wolf, can you estimate the number of shots you heard fired or the number of people that you saw with a gun that you believe were the gunman? Is it one person? Are there multiple people?
I was a few feet away from this one gunman who was shooting just randomly. And I'm guessing I heard at least a half a dozen, maybe 6 gunshots. I mean, they were booms. They were so loud. And I haven't heard gunshots like that in a long time. And it was very close to me. But the next thing I knew, I couldn't see anything else because a couple of police officers were jumping on me and trying to protect me. So I was down on the ground with police officers on top of me.
Could you hear the officers talking to the gunman, and what were they saying?
I think by then the gunman was shot. I could be wrong, but the gunman had stopped firing, and he was on the ground. And I'm standing outside, and there's a lot of FBI, a lot of Metropolitan Police, a lot of military personnel who are all here. It looks like it's beefing up big time. There's a lot of DEA. There's a lot of law enforcement here dealing with this.
A horrifying scene. But again, this is America. This is what we've come to expect, what we've come to know. This is at no point surprising to us, right? And do you know what we have? Do you know what normal people don't have? We don't have Secret Service protection. We don't get evacuated and get into the limo and go to the secure White House and talk about the bunker we're building in the ballroom. Like, this is the life that people have to live. That was a scary moment for everyone there. And I'm not diminishing it, but it was a scary moment because there are different classes of people in this country. And we talk about this every day. The Epstein class doesn't have to worry. They don't have to worry about any accountability. They get upset when they have to hear people protesting them. That's the biggest inconvenience in their life. But gun violence is an epidemic. It claims the lives of more young people than anything else. It claims lives every day. We talked about this after we saw the biggest mass shooting in years a few days ago that Donald Trump said nada about. And now there's a shooting that he's involved in, and it's going to become the biggest story in the world. So mass shooting, Donald Trump says nothing. Shooting involving Donald Trump, he's going to make it again about him. And if the press that is there at an event in which Donald Trump was coming to attack them about covering the Epstein files and covering the Iran war and covering him, if they don't do their jobs, it will be a failure and we'll be in the same place. And that cannot happen. So again, I know some people are going to clip this and it might be because I'm in my friend's hotel room. So Hassan, shout out to you and I appreciate you, man. But I just had to get this out because this is insane. And I am begging the journalist across DC. You know, it's only going to happen in independent media. Really. And I know that's a cheap plug and I'm sorry about that. But it's true. It's only going to happen with us. It is only going to happen with people who call out the violent tendencies of this regime. A regime, by the way, that's very cozy, very much in bed with what other regime that uses violence to excuse and allow the expansion of its project? Oh yes, Netanyahu and his buddies who literally have JD Vance reporting to them, who have Donald Trump start wars on their behalf. Or not start, follow suit. So maybe we should talk about that violence before we talk about, oh dear leader, oh no, poor Trump. I think that needs to be the conversation. So again, I know I've couched this 3 times. I know I've said the bottoms and I probably shouldn't do all the throat clearing just so no one gets upset at me. Because I don't really give a shit at this point. Violence is our politics. This is not who we are. So many people are going to say not who we are. This is exactly who we are. Because we have a man who posts his war crimes on Twitter while his Secretary of Defense defense quotes Pulp Fiction and asks if you've had a tasty burger and you'd like some Sprite to wash it down with. And then he kills a bunch of kids in a girls' school. So no, violence is our politics. Violence is Donald Trump's movement. And I do not think that he should get the sympathy or the credit from the very press that has allowed him to do that. So that's my rant. That's my upsetness. I will try to bring as much more breaking updates on this as possible. Do stick around, do subscribe. I love you all. Until next time, I'll see you. I don't know if that's going to happen by the time I post this. I probably shouldn't be sharing my location or what I'm doing, but I was going to go to a Substack one. You all saw me with David Pakman earlier. I was with Jordy Mice last night. I saw Adam Mockler. Like, we are in town. We are friends, but we were celebrating what this night should be about, and it is journalism. And the second that Donald Trump went, it was a capitulation. Not because he was going to be there, but because the response, the so-called protest, was to say, "Oh, wear a pin or I won't show up." Journalist of Washington, D.C., do you know what's a better protest of Donald Trump? Ask a fucking question. When he says, "Hey, Caitlin Collins, oh, you're..." And he didn't use these words, but essentially what he's saying is like, "Oh, you're a... because you asked me about the Epstein files." Tell him, fuck you. It's disgusting. That is how we have gotten to this place. The fact that the President of the United States can walk all over journalists, that they say, "Oh, dear leader, just please be nice to me." The fact that they pick up the phone, they call him, they brag about having his phone number, and allow him to manipulate markets by doing whatever he says. Oh, Donald Trump said this. He said the strait was open. He said the strait was closed. He said we are winning the war. That's not journalism. That's being a lapdog. And so the fact that the protest of an event that was supposed to be about journalism was wearing a little pin, being a little quiet? No. If you want to protest as a journalist, do your fucking 7 minutes job. And again, I know there are going to be people who are mad at me for saying this. And I'm a little fired up because I was walking right by there. And to look at my phone and see friends of mine who are there, people that I know and around this area, where we still don't know what is going to happen. We still don't know what is happening in Washington, D.C. And the fact that this has been spurred on by year after year after year, a decade we are at in this point of a man who leads a violent movement. That is what he does. Violence and fear is what he uses to scare people away from any critique, from any accountability. What was Alex Spray doing when he was killed? He was helping a woman. He was stepping in, but he was also recording. He was doing the job that the press won't. And so this night again, I know some people are going to be upset that this is the direction that I took it. And again, I want to show in this video as much reporting as I can. And I do want to take a quick second as I'm getting updates on this to literally look at my phone and see what is happening right now and plug in a couple more clips. And I want to plug in from some CNN on the ground because Wolf Blitzer did describe the incident. So I have more. I have more feelings, I have more thoughts, but I just want to throw to that real quick. The folks at CNN who are there in the building right now, before I just get upset a little bit more. And again, I'm going to say to the folks watching right now, I know some of the people who subscribe to my channel might be watching, but you may just be scrolling YouTube and want information on this and be like, who's this guy with the crazy hair who's yelling at us right now? But I'm upset because this is where we've allowed ourselves to get. And it has been through a refusal to hold the president accountable. And now the president will spin this as, and again, we still don't know the motive, but about him. And quite frankly me, and we love me. And it's about me. And they did this because of me. And now we need to institute martial law. Or now Donald Trump is going to put more ice in the street. Or now National Guard call up. I don't know. But they will use this as an excuse, and so many will feed into and allow his lies to happen. Instead of critiquing how we actually got here, which is not holding him accountable, not talking about the reasons that he's telling the lies. He did, he does, why they're wrong. And so anyone who doesn't call out what's coming next, and a lot is coming next by the way, and they're going to play this up. They're not going to talk about gun violence. No. We're not going to have a singular conversation about why probably some mad person was able to attain a weapon and about to shoot people in this room. We won't have this conversation. It'll all be about dear leader and how we protect him and how this is the libs' fault. Well, the President of the United States calls journalists. It was a room full of journalists. Animals. That's what it is. So I want an update because I promised I was going to bring the breaking news and we were going to. Then I have some thoughts to close. So do stick around for that.